Okay, let me preface this, that this is not a replacement to Civil 3D. These are softwares that you're going to use for different things. I'm going to show you a quick concept of a road up Rib Mountain. Start to finish, all you need to know right now is Google Earth is on running. I've got a picture showing there, and it is in fact, the terrain is on. That's what I missed a little bit earlier when I'm doing this. I'm going to go out to Google Earth and bring in try zooming in a little bit first. So I guess I got to come back in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. I'll just take my road up there. So I'm going to minimize that so you have a certain limit. If you think about Revit having its limit, Google Earth has, this SketchUp seems to have its limit. It's importing. It's going out and pulling it in. Hopefully it'll come back here, bring it in. Now if you remember what I said earlier about layers, I think earlier like forever, right there, I've got layers set. And we'll have two layers come in. One will be the flat shot, the other one will be the 3D shot. There's a great SketchUp show that shows you how to replace this kind of 3D shot with a better color image off of something. Maybe the City of Wausau site, City of Point site. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you about a little bit about layers. Not much. I'm going to go to layers here. I'm going to make some new ones. I'm going to call it my drape stuff. And I'm going to go maybe drape 2, better layers than that, and maybe drape 3. The colors are not that important within here. You'll see later on you're going to use them for different things, but right now I'm going to turn off the snapshot and introduce you to the fact that basically your tin data and your geography data is in this picture, but you really don't need to carry around all that picture, and it might get a little, sometimes tends to get a little bit confusing. So what do you need to do? You're going to click, right click, and you're going to unlock it, and then you're going to grab everything inside the picture. When you're inside of it, you're going to grab everything inside and you're going to paint it. And I'm going to tell you, you can paint it anything you want, but I'm going to tell you it's not a bad idea when you're doing this base work, and you can always bring it in again to give it something that makes sense and it's not going to overwhelm you. So I've painted it to be blue. Now I can, if I want to, I can go back to Window, Layers, and I could, each time I turn something on or off, I could make a scene, so I remembered it. So you can kind of get the general idea. If it kind of did an elevation, I'm zooming in here, I've got that picture still around. The next thing you're going to want to do is to then get a plan view, something that you can sketch on top so you can draw your route. The process here is to go ahead and draw the route, drop the route down onto the onto your tin, and then pull it back out in 3D. So one thing we're going to want to do, once again, layers, we're going to turn off the picture again, and we're going to want to make sure that the tin is on its own little layer. We turned off the wrong one. I guess we would be me. Layers, I'm going to turn off the snapshot, and I've got the terrain in there. What I want to do here is I want to go inside, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer and call that the tin. All right, that's going to be important as we get into some of these things here. I'm going to make that my current layer, even though I don't need to right now. I'm going to click inside, double click inside, grab everything. Grab everything when I'm inside, and I'm going to right click, Entity Info, change everything to the tin layer. Hopefully that will have changed everything. And we're going to then see what layer this is on. Right click, Entity Info, so it's on the Google Earth terrain layer. So you've got things inside a block on a layer, inside a component on a layer, and outside. This point in time, like I said, you're going to want to tend to draft some sort of box, and you're going to move that, some sort of face, and you're going to move that face up in space so it's above. And then again, that one you're going to want to paint so you can see through it. All kinds of different ways. You can use X-ray, you can use whatever you want, but you're going to want to typically have these painted a couple different colors. Let me try the yellow. Works for me. Now you're ready to draw your route. Now, if in fact you want to see something, again, you want this route to be on that top layer. So if you want to see some pictures, basically you can go and turn back onto there, turn that on, and you can see now that picture underneath, and you should be able to get some general visual to what's going on. Now, you could draw your route right on top, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you could draw your route right on top and snap to the surface. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of figure a path up from this house up the hill, and I'm going to do it by just taking a path, and I'm going to be drafting on the yellow, on the face, come back around here, through here, go around here, go there, come back down. There's my route. And now if you hear I went too fast, I'm going to do an edit undo, because if you get off of the plane, it's going to be a little screwy. So I'm zooming around here, and you see that everything is up on that yellow plane. I'm kind of looking in a plan view, and I'm just going to finish out that pencil from there. This is all 2D stuff. Now, what layer did I put stuff on becomes really important. Right click, Entity Info. That shouldn't be on tin. I want that to all be on drape. So I'm going to grab all that, right click, Entity Info, and I'm going to put it on the drape layer. All right. In the end, then I can eventually go ahead and get rid of that yellow or whatever once I get my path there. But what was going to happen in a second, we're going to drape that tin down to those lines down to our tin. So once again, layers become important. They always were. And I'm not using any scening here to remember the layers, but I'm going to turn off the snapshot now. We're interested only in the terrain. The terrain is in effect a tin. I can go ahead and freeze hide. I'm just going to delete this thinking that I'm completely done with it. Probably am not. I'm going to grab now these things, and I'm going to use the tools, which are the drape tool. The drape tool is I grab my objects first, typically grab the tool, and then give it, that was the smooth, sorry. I want to do a smooth. I want to grab my objects, grab the drape tool. It's not a stamp. Okay, try it one more time. There are no vertical surfaces. I'm going to try to grab this and hope that it is parallel, that we've got, there it is, there's the drape tool. Hit the drape tool, the mesh you wish to drape onto, and there you have it, down there on the surface. Now that actually has 3D'd out. I guess I was way below the hill. That's kind of boring, but that did it. Now, in fact, you have to remember that you now you have to go back inside of here. So you have to go inside of there, and now you can grab that. Hopefully, if you're inside that block, you go across there. I'm going to go back out here a little bit. So it draped it inside the group, inside, and that's what we call orthographic projection onto a surface. And that, you can see, may not be as fun as it should be because we didn't put it on the hill, but you know, it's a state park, so I don't really want to put it on the hill. All right, see what we can do here. Now you're going to double click inside. And if you think about it now, double clicking inside of that, we should be able to turn off some layers like tools. We should be able to go into layers here and turn off the tin layer. Okay, so you can't turn off the terrain, that layer because it is actually on that layer. But I should be able to grab all those things if I'm inside. Once again, you have to get inside. Double click inside. Now grab all that. Double click inside, grabbing all that. And then typically over your mouse over the top, right click, make a component would probably be the best thing. And then generally try to set your component axis at something that you know, like the endpoint there. And maybe try to keep that, try to know what's going on with your coordinate systems. There's a little cheesiness to what I'm doing here. I'm just going to call that my 3D route. Lots of different ways to do this, but I'm just going to go ahead and create that. You're essentially wanting to take that then out of the tin. You want to kind of play around with these things and realize how you can move stuff around. But I'm going to go ahead now and try to bring the 3D tin right kind of coming off of here by doing an insert, which of course is by bringing in a component. And bringing in a component, this is going to be one that's in the model. I can bring that route in, and if you notice there, when I bring it to there, some way, shape, or form, it's done something. Whether it's perfect or not, it's hard to say. I probably screwed up some of the projection. A lot of that look is due to the projection here now. If I go back here and change my camera parallel projection, I have some obvious rotation problems, but it's pretty much there. And that's the kind of process you'll see. It works a little bit better if in fact you have made it on a surface that's not so flat. So that process from there, you can do lots with it. You can make it a curve if you can, make it an edge, and that's this process of kind of extracting data. We'll comment this and realize this is the kind of data you can stick out to Civil 3D and have a lot of your work kind of pre-roughed in. Thanks for listening.